Hello, and welcome to today's discussion. I want to start by acknowledging something that affects millions of people yet often remains misunderstood in our society. Today, let's explore together how to approach learning differences and the journey toward understanding your beautifully unique brain. If you're watching this, you might have experienced the frustration of being told you're not trying hard enough when you genuinely were. Perhaps you felt the weight of being labeled as lazy or unmotivated when your brain simply processes information differently than expected. Maybe you've spent years wondering why learning feels like swimming upstream while others seem to glide effortlessly through academic tasks. I want you to know that your struggles are valid, your efforts matter, and most importantly, recent scientific discoveries have revolutionized our understanding of how diverse brains learn and thrive. Let me share what current research has revealed about learning differences and why this knowledge is so empowering. Recent scientific investigations have fundamentally changed how we understand learning disabilities, moving away from deficit-based models toward a more accurate understanding of neurological diversity. A major research institution published groundbreaking findings in 2024 demonstrating that targeted interventions can create measurable structural and functional changes in the brain. These interventions, such as phonics-based reading programs for dyslexia, lead to enhanced connectivity and activation in brain regions crucial for reading, reflecting the brain's remarkable adaptability in response to training. What's particularly encouraging is that authoritative studies have shown significant malleability in the neural networks that mediate reading and math skills. Over 20 peer-reviewed studies combining functional neuroimaging before and after reading intervention demonstrate that children who respond to intervention show essentially normalized brain changes. These changes include increased activation of both dorsal and ventral processing systems, indicating that the brain can literally rewire itself to support learning when given appropriate support. After math intervention, research shows reduced hyperconnectivity and better organized neural networks, indicating more efficient brain functioning. One of the most significant findings from intervention research comes from a major research institution's investigation, which revealed that better outcomes are consistently associated with earlier intervention. When children are identified with basic reading and math difficulties early in development, before third grade, intervention efforts lead to significantly greater automaticity and neural efficiency. This research demonstrates that the brain's plasticity is highest during critical developmental periods, making early identification and support crucial. However, this doesn't mean that support later in life isn't valuable. Neuroplasticity continues throughout our lives, though the degree may vary. Recent studies on neurodivergent learners have provided powerful validation for those who think differently. Research indicates that 20% of the population is neurodivergent, including individuals with learning disabilities, attention disorders, and neurological differences. Studies demonstrate that learning about neuroplasticity provides potent validation for neurodivergent students, as neurodiversity represents a natural result of experience-dependent neuroplasticity rather than a deficiency. This shift in understanding is crucial because it reframes learning differences as variations in brain architecture rather than failures or limitations. Educational research from leading institutions has identified specific teaching strategies that enhance neural connectivity and promote effective learning. Evidence-based approaches include active learning and multisensory methods, which research shows can significantly improve outcomes. Studies emphasize that brain plasticity understanding enables tailored individualized learning experiences, leading to more effective instructional techniques and improved social-emotional learning outcomes. This research has practical implications for how we approach learning challenges in both educational and personal settings. Additionally, latest research on growth mindset interventions shows powerful effects on academic success. Large-scale studies demonstrate that holding a growth mindset, the belief that intelligence and learning potential can be developed, is associated with improved academic performance, enhanced emotional well-being, increased motivation, and reduced achievement gaps across diverse populations. This research is particularly relevant for individuals with learning differences, as it provides a framework for understanding that abilities can be developed through effort and effective strategies. Now, I'd like to share some practical approaches that are grounded in this scientific understanding. Please remember that these are suggestions based on current research, and what works can vary significantly from person to person. It's always important to consider what feels appropriate for your unique situation and to work with qualified professionals when possible. The first approach involves implementing a neuroplasticity-based learning protocol. This method engages multiple brain pathways simultaneously through multisensory learning techniques. Research shows that combining visual, auditory, and kinesthetic elements creates stronger neural connections and improves retention by up to 400%. To practice this approach, start each learning session by activating different sensory modalities. For example, you might trace letters while saying sounds aloud, use colored materials for math concepts, or incorporate movement into memorization activities. The key is to engage as many senses as possible while learning new information. Practice this approach for 15 minutes daily to build robust neural networks that support learning across domains. This method works because it creates multiple pathways to the same information, making retrieval easier and more reliable. The second method involves conducting a strategic strength identification system. This approach recognizes that individuals with learning differences often possess exceptional abilities in areas like spatial reasoning, creative problem solving, or pattern recognition. Research has consistently shown that focusing on strengths while supporting areas of challenge leads to better outcomes than deficit-focused approaches. To implement this system, spend 1 week documenting moments when learning feels natural or enjoyable, noting the conditions and methods involved. Pay attention to the time of day, the environment, the type of material, and your emotional state during these positive learning experiences. Use these insights to develop personalized learning strategies that leverage your brain's natural strengths while gently supporting areas of challenge. This approach is effective because it works with your brain's existing neural strengths rather than trying to force weak areas to function like strong ones. The third approach focuses on growth mindset neural training, which involves practicing evidence-based techniques that literally rewire your brain for learning success. Research shows that believing in your ability to improve creates neural changes that enhance learning capacity. Each day, practice replacing fixed mindset thoughts like, "I'm not good at this," with growth-oriented alternatives like, "I'm learning to get better at this." Document 3 learning challenges you've overcome recently and the specific strategies that helped, reinforcing your brain's understanding that abilities can be developed through effort and effective approaches. This practice works by strengthening neural pathways associated with resilience and persistence while weakening pathways associated with learned helplessness and self-doubt. The fourth method involves optimal challenge zone regulation, which means calibrating learning activities to your personal sweet spot where challenge promotes growth without overwhelming your system. Neuroscience research indicates that learning occurs most effectively when tasks are approximately 85% achievable, providing enough challenge to stimulate neural growth while maintaining confidence and motivation. To practice this approach, regularly adjust difficulty levels based on your energy, time of day, and current capacity. If a task feels too easy, add complexity. If it feels overwhelming, break it into smaller steps or provide additional support. This approach ensures that learning remains engaging rather than defeating, which is crucial for maintaining motivation and building competence over time. The fifth approach involves implementing executive function support systems using research-backed strategies to support working memory, attention, and planning skills that may need extra assistance. Studies show that breaking complex tasks into smaller, sequential steps reduces cognitive load and improves success rates. Use external supports like visual schedules, timers, and checklists to offload cognitive demands from your brain to your environment. For example, create visual representations of multi-step processes, use timers to maintain focus during work periods, and develop checklists to ensure important steps aren't forgotten. Practice these systems consistently for 4 weeks to establish automatic routines that free up mental resources for learning. This approach works by reducing the cognitive burden on areas of the brain that may be less efficient while maximizing the available mental resources for actual learning. The final approach I'll share involves creating a stress-regulated learning environment. Research shows that stress hormones significantly impair memory formation and retrieval, making stress management crucial for effective learning. To implement this approach, identify your personal stress signals and develop a toolkit of quick regulation techniques like deep breathing, brief movement, or sensory self-soothing. Establish learning environments that feel safe and supportive, with adequate lighting, minimal distractions, and access to comfort items when needed. Consider factors like noise level, temperature, seating arrangement, and visual organization. This approach is important because stress-regulated environments allow your brain to function optimally, maximizing your natural learning abilities. To summarize what we've discussed today, let me highlight the key insights from current research and practice. First, multisensory approaches build stronger neural pathways by engaging multiple brain systems simultaneously, creating more robust and accessible memories. Second, strengths-based learning leverages your brain's natural gifts by working with existing neural advantages rather than focusing primarily on deficits. Third, growth mindset literally rewires your brain for success by strengthening neural pathways associated with resilience and learning. Fourth, optimal challenge zones promote learning without overwhelm by maintaining the delicate balance between stimulation and capacity. Fifth, external supports free mental resources for learning by reducing cognitive load and providing reliable structures. And sixth, stress regulation is essential for memory formation because elevated stress hormones interfere with the brain's ability to encode and retrieve information effectively. I want to emphasize that your brain is not broken, it's beautifully different and infinitely capable of growth. The latest research proves that learning differences are neurological variations, not limitations, and that targeted support can unlock extraordinary potential. Recovery and growth in learning happen through patience, appropriate support, and evidence-based approaches. What matters most is finding strategies that honor your unique brain while building on your natural strengths. Please remember that while these research-based strategies might provide support, they are not meant to replace professional educational or psychological services if you're facing significant learning challenges. If you're struggling with persistent learning difficulties that substantially impact your daily functioning, academic performance, or emotional well-being, consider working with qualified professionals such as educational psychologists, learning specialists, or educational therapists who can provide personalized assessment and intervention. Your learning journey is unique, and you deserve support that honors both your challenges and your remarkable abilities. Start with one technique tomorrow and trust in your brain's remarkable plasticity to create new pathways to success. If today's discussion provided any support or insight, please consider hitting the like button to help others who might benefit from this information find it. If you'd like to continue learning about mental health topics together, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Remember to be gentle with yourself as you navigate this learning journey. May your hearts feel a little lighter, and thank you so much for listening until the end today.